Good morning, KSP family. Where are you guys at this morning? Everybody sleeping still? Back at work? What's happening? What is happening? Showing a little bit of cleave this morning. Well, I see somebody is watching. I do not know who it is. Please tell me. Oh yeah, I'm going to switch over to my deck. I think that works better. Hello, good morning, Janine. I see you. Anybody, who else is on here? I see that there's two eyes watching. Tell me who you are. It's not uploading. It's not telling me. So I think that there's always like a bit of a delay in the commenting and whatever. The actual seeing you guys come on. So let me know. Give me a wave. Give me a heart. Are you guys awake? You guys ready for this day? It is Wednesday. Chrissy. Good morning, little Miss Chrissy. So good to see you guys. So great. I so appreciate that you're jumping on here live with me. And I'm excited to dive into what we have. So far, both of you, tell me, how has the first couple of days, right? We're like in the middle of the challenge now. How has the first couple of days, the homework been for you? Have you found it challenging? Have you come against obstacles of why you're not able to actually do it? Tell me a little bit about, like, are you struggling in any area? And if not, tell me how is it helping you? How is it helping you? Is there anything that I can clarify for you guys? I want to hear this kind of feedback because my goal is to be able to communicate this stuff in a way that is easily digestible and easily actionable, because I don't want to just teach you stuff. I just don't want to teach you things. I want you to be able to take what you're learning and apply it to your life. Take what you're learning and actually see it and the effects of it in your life. So let me know whether you're on here live with me, or even if you're just watching the video. You can always post in this thread. I always go back and I read the comments and I see what you guys are saying. So today, let's jump in. So once again, this whole week is about breaking the cycle of commit, quit, feel like shit. How I was able to do that in my life, and also create lasting habits that enable me to live a life that I love and that I feel really proud about myself, and that I'm just like fully engaged in creating, not allowing my circumstances to determine whether or not I create what it is I want, but actually creating what it is I want. So Chrissy says, I think the best thing for me is asking myself, is this helping my goal when I'm about to do something? Yeah, that is, honestly, it really is. It's like the simple question, does it fit? Does it fit? Does it fit in line with who I want to be, with where I want to go? And if it doesn't, just get rid of it. Janine, it has given me food for thought. I'm really searching for my truth about myself. Blood sugar's coming down and losing. Oh, I can't see this. It's not letting me see. Oh, a bit of weight. Okay, awesome. Yeah. So giving me food for thought. I'm really searching for my truth about myself. Blood sugar's coming down and losing a bit of weight. Yeah, well, you know what? Today is going to be awesome for you, Janine. This is going to be some breakthrough shit, so get ready for it. There was a point in my life, I don't know if you guys know this, but I actually never graduated high school. And I was working 3 jobs. I was always a very hard worker. I was a hustler. I would do whatever it took. It wasn't that I was lazy. It wasn't that I was stupid. It was literally just my life and what was going on and my knowledge at the time that led me to making the decisions that I was making. And so for a very long time, I actually didn't know, I didn't know what the future of my life looked like. I didn't even really think about the future of my life. I had never been taught the skill of setting a goal and how to work towards it and actually manage all of the feelings that come up on your way to the end results, on your way of evolving into the person that you have to become to get to where you want to go. And so as an adult, it was something that I had to I was like, I know there's something missing. I had to go out there and I had to find it. But during that period, it wasn't easy. And it was a struggle, and it was literally, I was 15 and I had to become self-sufficient. I had to learn how to survive, and I did the things that I knew how to survive. And I learned so many lessons during that time. And the most amazing thing I think that really set me up for success was this never ending. What I didn't realize was that I had this resolve in me, that I had decided, I had committed, and I had resolved inside of me. There was where it just gets to this place where it's like, no matter if this takes the rest of my life, it won't, because I take action on it. But it was this knowing deep inside of me that eventually I know I will figure this out. And it was so deep inside of me. And that's where you guys have really got to get this too, is where you have this resolve that, you know what, no matter whatever it is that's in front of you. So Chrissy, for you, sticking to the plan that you create. Janine, for you, is really the truth about who you are, and sticking to the plan that you make in regards to food, right? And so it is this getting to this place where you've decided, okay, this is it. You're fully committed. And then you start to gain the capabilities that you need. You start to gain the knowledge that you need, which is why you're here. You're gaining that knowledge. And you start to realize, where am I at? What are the things that I need to get me to where I want to go? And it's the resolve is, that you know that you're going to get there. And the tools and the things that I'm teaching you this week are the things that if you don't remove them from your life, if you do not see them and make a conscious choice, then it's just going to slow you down. And so that is the question you have to ask yourself, is how fast do I want to go to get to where I want to be? Because, there's so many things. Life is busy. Life is full. There's so many things pulling at our attention. And we get to decide what it is that we do with our time. We all have 24 hours in every single day. It's like if I said to you, okay, every day I'm going to give you $24. But if you do not spend this $24 by the end of the day, it just disappears. You don't get to carry it over. So how do you want to spend this $24? That's exactly how time is. And when you look at it from a holistic approach, the mind, body, spirit, and I don't know if you guys saw the video from yesterday, the bonus video that I did, but if you didn't, it's in the Facebook group. I emailed it out. Oh, I didn't email it out to this group. I emailed it out to the previous group. So, but it is in this Facebook group. So watch it, because it was just something I knew it was a message that this group needed to hear. But when you begin to understand where you're going and what you do not have time for, and you start to cut those things out, and that's one of the hardest things, because I know for me, it's I want all the things, and I want them all right now. But the more we can really focus in and really nail down that one thing, trust me, this is where the momentum begins to build. When you can really get clear with who you are and what you want, then this is where the momentum begins to build. You begin to build confidence in who you are. You know you have your own back. And so we've already talked about the motivational triad. We've talked about making that decision and removing the shoulds. This is how you dial in your GPS, right? So you know where you are, where you want to go. You remove the shoulds. And we've talked about how to use desire to get us to where we want to go. So question for you right now, can you see where your desires are hurting you in your life? Can you see the desires that are pulling you away from your goal instead of moving you towards your goal? And how can you begin to build the desire for the thing that really matters? You can throw your answers into the comment. I love seeing those comments. So let's talk about making the decision, committing. Good morning, Eden. Committing to the decision that you've made, no matter what it is, whether it's, the eating healthy, whether it is dedicating yourself to your schooling schedule, whether it is, just like really carving out the time, being deliberate in your schedule about carving out the time for you and for your own self-growth and to figure out what is it that my mind, body, and spirit need that's going to keep me at my peak state, that's going to keep me feeling amazing. You know what? Honestly, guys, such is life, such is our brains, where we wake up and we don't feel the best. We don't feel energized. We feel anxious. We have worries and stresses and, this inner villain that is screaming at us for its attention, which is actually Dr. Daniel Amen says, it's the ants. It's the automatic negative thoughts. It's just how our brains are wired. And so we have to decide, we have to commit, we have to find that resolve, and we have to take action. No matter how we feel, we have to take that imperfect action. And we have to, Tony Robbins, I love. So he's got cold tanks in all of his houses. And every day he jumps in that cold tank. I forget, it's like minus 39 degrees or some crazy ass shit. But he jumps in it and he says, not one day does he feel like doing it. But he has trained himself. He has trained his mind. He has trained his body that when I say go, we go. It's not dependent on how I feel. It's exactly the muscle that we have to build is when I say go, we go. But if you don't have a plan, if you don't know where the heck you are and where you're going, well, what are you saying go to, right? When you don't set up these parameters for yourself and then allow yourself to achieve or fail and keep on going, then every day you don't really know where you're going. You don't really know what you're committed to, what you've decided on, what you said yes to, and what you said no to. And so when we are taking imperfect action every day, taking a step, progress equals happiness. If we are not growing, we are dying. Humans are meant to grow. That's why some of the best years of our lives are when we're young, because we have these ideas of where we're going, of what we want to grow into. When we stop growing, that's when depression sets in. That's when we lose our passion, we lose our focus. It's because we are not progressing. And all of a sudden our happiness, people don't understand, they're searching for happiness and they can't seem to find it. And it's because they are not tapped into what is it that truly lights them up. And so if I was to work with you one-on-one every day you and I had this call, let's say 8 to 9 in the morning, and I gave you the exact steps. We did all this, I inspired you and got you focused and lit you up. And you started to see whatever your goal is. You can throw it in there right now. In one word, in 30 days, what is it that you would want to create? Put it in the chat right now. In 30 days, if I said, okay, I'm giving this to you, where every day we are going to jump on this call, we are going to get that freaking goal. In 30 days, what would it be for you? And then a month goes by and you started to see growth. You started to see that your body was feeling better. You were losing weight. Every day you stuck to your schedule. Every day you put the input in that you knew you needed for the output that you wanted in your life. And you started to build this momentum. You started to get excited. What else is possible? That is what would happen. Janine says, create a healthy mind. When you have a healthy mind, what else is possible? You start to build momentum. You start to believe that this is possible. So your breakthrough is in sight. You can see it, right? You're progressing. Doesn't mean you're perfect, but you're progressing. It's just that one step after another. And your blueprint begins to change. Your thoughts begin to shift. Your story begins to change. Your desires begin to change because you're changing the thought patterns that are in your mind. You're no longer just seeking pleasure and avoiding pain, taking the path of least resistance. No, now you're starting to change and your state of being begins to change. So that breakthrough, you can see it's coming. The train is moving down the tracks. You're starting to go faster, but we all have a blueprint within us that measures. I did it again. I forgot to bring my water. I'm going to have dry mouth. It's all good. Alexa, make an announcement.
What's the announcement?
Water, please.
Announcing.
Water, please. Let's see if Chris brings it to me. So we all have a blueprint within us that measures whether we believe that we are enough. Stay with me here because this is so key. And for each person, it's different. So we have these ideas, right? They're like a formula, that this idea of when we have gotten to a certain point of success in our lives. So we look at our life situation right now, okay? So we've got our blueprint, which is our thinking about what we expect out of life. And we've got our life situation. So our life situation would be the circumstances that you see. So maybe you're 20 pounds overweight. Maybe you don't stick to your schooling schedule. Maybe whatever it is. This is your life circumstances, right? It's the facts. It's not what you think about it. It's just the facts. So there's at least one area in your life right now that you feel good about. So if you're really fair and you're really honest with yourself, you can say, and throw it up in the comments, what is one area that you're like, I would say I'm actually really proud of myself. Like for me, I'm really proud of myself that I have ended the chatter about food in my brain. Like literally, I believed for I guess my whole life that it was just normal for women to just have this constant chatter about what to eat and how to get obsessive about, and then beat myself up for eating a bag of chips, or it was non-stop chatter. It was exhausting. And I'm going to say that I feel very proud of myself because I've ended that chatter. I've gotten myself there's always better. I want to move more. I want to work out more. I want to do those things. And I will. But you know what? I feel like where I'm at, I'm so proud of myself for. So if you guys were really fair with yourself and honest with yourself, where is an area that you would say, yeah, you know what? I'm a good mom. I'm a good mom. I show up. I'm present. Or maybe I'm a great wife or amazing friend. Or maybe, I've found like some amazing success in I can play an instrument like a friggin' whatever. I was going to say banshee, but I don't even know what that means. So if you think about it, what is an area that you feel really happy about yourself? So write that down, whether you put it in the comments or whether you put it on a piece of paper right now. I want you to write that down and ask yourself, why are you happy about that area? What creates that happiness for you? And I want you to really do this. I want you, if you're watching this afterwards, I want you to pause this. If you're watching it live, I want you just to jot it down. I want you to write down what is an area that you're happy with and why am I happy with it? Whatever area that you're happy with in your life conditions, in your life experience, they match the blueprint that you have inside of you. So if you think about it, for me, I have a blueprint of, being healthy for me means that I take time out for myself. It means I do my meditation. It means I walk my boys in the morning. It means I only drink 1 coffee a day. It means that I have a smoothie every day, that I know what my body needs and I feed that to my body. It means that I drink so much water. It means that I snack, but not all the time. I have a limit to my snacking. It means that I move my body on a regular basis. So this is my blueprint. And so here's my blueprint and here's my life circumstance, right? So then there's this gap in between. I have brought my blueprint and my life reality, my life circumstance, and I have aligned them. Or they're like this, right? But I've pretty much aligned them. And when we feel really amazing about ourselves is when our blueprint's here and our life circumstances here. And, we go like this and then we start going like this and you're like, what? I never knew it. I can't believe it. I've so far exceeded this. And you begin to align this. And so in our lives, when we have this, and we have this, we have our blueprint, we have our life circumstances, and there's a big gap here, guess what? This is where the unhappiness is. This is where we feel discouraged. This is where we feel defeated. This is where we feel like how will we ever get there? Now, that gap isn't a bad thing. You have to understand, the gap is not a bad thing because it's like the magnet that draws to each other, right? So it is the understanding because there's hope, like, oh, I want to lose 10 pounds. So here's your blueprint. I want to be whatever weight. And I'm actually at this weight, but I can do this. I'm going to put my mind to it and I'm going to work towards it. And so you begin to change your life circumstance to align with your blueprint. Now, let's be honest. Sometimes we can't change the life circumstance. Sometimes we try to control the things that we actually have no control over. And we focus on those things, and that starts to breed unhappiness within us. It starts to breed a dissatisfaction. Oh, my computer volume is on. It starts to breed a dissatisfaction within us. And it's when we begin to believe that we have no control in that space and that something has gone terribly wrong, and it starts to make us feel very dissatisfied. And in life, when we know what we can control, know what we can't control, and we have to begin to change. Life requires us to change a little bit of both. first of all, knowing in the life circumstance, what can we control? Second of all, in our blueprint, what needs to change, what doesn't align. We have to start to shift both of these things to get us to where we want to go. Now, whatever area that matches, we find happiness, right? So how we think life should be, we feel content. So what is an area of your life that you're unhappy with? And a lot of the answers that come out of this will be the areas that you desire, right? The areas that you're working towards. And so you know what areas those are because they cause you pain, they cause you frustration, they cause you stress. And so be honest and write this down. What's an area that you would like to improve? Why are you not happy with that area? So closing this gap is what is going to start to change things for you. When your life conditions don't match your blueprint, your story, then you're going to have that disappointment, frustration, and pain. And the bigger the gap, the more you're going to experience that pain. So let's use, for instance, say you were raised in a home where you had cleaners, you had a nanny, you had a huge home, you were always like, everything was pretty much provided for you, right? And then you move out. Your house is a little smaller. You don't have a housemaid. You don't quite get to spend the way that your parents always spent. And now you're dissatisfied. You're unhappy. You're like, life should have it should not be like this. You married a man that doesn't make as much money as your parents did. And all of a sudden, that dissatisfaction comes in. You start to feel pain. You're frustrated. You're angry. And you start to get caught up in this place of dissatisfaction. Now, you can change your life circumstances, or you can change your blueprint, or you can do a bit of both and close the gap. So you think about, everybody's got a different blueprint. You think about women who are like 30 pounds overweight than what what they say is healthy for your body, but they love it and they own it and they feel great in it because their blueprint is big is beautiful, right? They totally just love it and all the power to them. That's amazing. Then the other person who is like a skinny twig and they're always like, oh, I'm so overweight and I just don't look good and blah, 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 and blah, blah, blah. And they're always looking for, if I just lose 5 more pounds, but they're never satisfied. They're never content because of this blueprint that's within them. And when our blueprint doesn't match our life circumstances, and when we feel that we have no power to change, that's when the deep pain, when we really sets in. That's when we become complacent. That's when we don't even, it's like every day it's like a struggle to get up. And what you have to understand is that life circumstances you can't always change. But we can always change our blueprint. We always have control over our blueprint, over our story, over our thinking. And when we have to make sure, I know for me, I've been at the lowest of low, where it was so dark that I had to make a choice. I had to decide in that moment. It was either I was 16, I'll never forget it, on my brother's couch, and I was so broken, and I was in so much pain from the circumstances of my life. My mom had just died. I was I came from Ontario. I had to come to Winnipeg because I had gotten into so much trouble with the law that either I was going to juvie or I was moving to Winnipeg with my aunt and uncle, because they actually came to Ontario to sit in the courtroom and plead with the judge to let me come as my sentence. And so there I was. I came to Winnipeg. I was still like, I was using every drug, on cocaine probably more of the time than not. And I was lying there. It was like 3 a.m, lying on my brother's couch. Him and his wife were in the other room sleeping, and the kids. And I remember being in such a deep pain that, and I didn't know what I believed in. I was raised to believe in God, but I was so angry at God. I was like, if this is a God that I serve that, takes my mom from me and causes me this depth of pain, I can't serve a God like that. I can't believe in a God like that. And so I was on my own journey of seeking and really having to figure out what is my own truth in this world. Because if this is life, if this type of pain is life, I'm out. I don't want to live it. It was like to live or die in that moment. And I remember I was like, God, if you're really there, if you're really real, it was such a pivotal moment in my life. I was like, then you have to tell me, like, what the heck is my purpose in this world? Why am I here? Because this pain is not my purpose. And it was like clear as day. It was like this voice was sitting beside me talking to me. And it was, what I heard was, what is your name? And I said, my name is Charity. And I heard, what does charity mean? And my name means love. It comes from the Bible. My mom always told me, faith, hope, and charity, but the greatest of these is charity. And that's how she picked my name. And I said, well, the meaning of my name is love. And God said, that is your purpose, is to love. And at that time, like I've always been a people person. And so to me, I was like, well, that's the easiest thing I could do. Like it's so easy for me to love. And I was like, but it was in that moment that I decided, I committed, I had my resolve instantly. And anytime that I felt that has always been my guiding light, whenever, because shit didn't get better. Trust me, nothing changed the next day. Damn, I felt like worse probably, because I came down from the high I was on. But I've always gone back. That has always been my guiding light. And it has evolved into a crazy understanding of who I am and what my purpose is and where I am going. But in that moment, my life circumstance, I couldn't change. But that moment changed my blueprint. I understood that there was a bigger purpose. And now I understand even more that the depth of my pain has actually allowed me to understand the depth of love that I need for myself, that I need for people. I have a clear understanding of how love in my life for who I am is the core of everything that I do. And so I was able to align my blueprint and start to close that gap. And every day I continue to evolve that blueprint into the purpose that I live. And we all have an identity. And when life gets in the way of that identity, of that story that we have, that pain, when we feel like we have no control, when we believe that our lives don't match our blueprint, that is when we begin to suffer. And this week is all about taking a look at our blueprint. It's all about growing into the life, building the life circumstance that we want, making choices that are not easy, they're hard, but that we're dedicated to. And what makes us feel alive is that growing. it's growing into, right? The happiness comes from progress. And and I believe giving is the key that unlocks that door. Everything can be going great in our lives, and then something happens. Life comes along and takes it from us. That's what happened to me. Everything was great, and life came along and it took my mom. And that caused me intense pain in my life. And I couldn't change that. But I began to change the blueprint. I began to change the gap. Because when we can recognize what our blueprint is and what our life circumstance is, when we look into the mindsets that we have, there's two places that we can go. We can either blame someone, something, ourselves, or we can change. And look at what can we control, and we can begin to change. And when we blame, often we go to blame because it allows us to feel we get angry, and angry is a false sense of strength, right? It makes us feel strong. And it's better than feeling weak. It's better than feeling sad. It's better than feeling, defeated or discouraged. And so that is why we go to blame. And so we can stay in the place of blame, but it's so disempowering. It doesn't do anything for our lives. It doesn't move us to taking action that is going to move us towards our dream. So either we change the condition or we change the blueprint. And like I said, life requires a little bit of both. And this is why when we reach a goal, sometimes we're still not happy, right? We can change the life circumstance and we're like, what? I'm still not happy. It's because our blueprint has not been changed. And when we can close the gap of our life and our blueprint, when we can begin to close this and understand of what life should be, right? Then our blueprint and our life circumstances start to align, and we start to exceed. We start to go beyond what we thought could possibly be. And once we get there, I'm just going to turn my book here because I've got my notes. Once we get there, we get a new blueprint, right? And guess what happens? This is what happens. We get there, we get a new blueprint because we start to see, right? It's like the mountain in the valley. I love this. So 10:08. Sheesh, I went way over. I'm going to wrap it up. It's the mountain in the valley. So the mountain is the goal. And we get to the top of the mountain, right? We align the blueprint and life circumstance. And we get here. And then we see the next mountain. We're like, oh, wait, but there's more. We have to go back into the valley. And we have to go back down the mountain. Come back up the mountain. It's where the pain is, where the struggle is, where it's hard. But it's how we evolve as humans. It's how we go to the next level. It is the continued growth, which is so amazing. And so when we are in this place, we have to question our limiting beliefs. We have to question our thoughts. We have to question the things that are going through our heads. And no matter where you are, your move, no matter where we are, you know that you're more than just this moment. There's more than just this moment. And sometimes not what we think we desire. It's sometimes when we don't get those things, that is the greatest gift, because it's what evolves us into the next version of ourselves. When we think things should look a certain way and they don't, it's in that space that we get to rise up. It's in that space that we can grow. And it's like why hindsight, right? 2020, you look back and you're like, That's why that happened. Man, if that wouldn't have happened in my life, I wouldn't be this. I wouldn't have figured out this. When I thought I wanted that and it never came to me, wow, this is so much better, right? Garth Brooks sings a song about, there was a girl in, I'm going to end on this. There was a girl that he was obsessed with. He just wanted to marry her as a teenage boy, and he just thought the world of her. And as he became an adult and a man, he had an opportunity to go back to his hometown, and he spent a day with this girl. And I'm so glad I'm not this girl, but he wrote a song about how he was so glad that he never married her, that the thing that he wanted so badly, thank God he never got. And so I want to encourage you that no matter where you're at in your journey, just find rest and peace that you are exactly where you need to be. You're going to get to where you want to go, whether it looks like what you think it does or not, but you're exactly where you need to be today. And as the week goes on, you are going to start to see the things that I'm teaching you. You're going to start to really recognize how they are evolving you into the next version of your greater self. So on that note, I will be sending out your homework right away, and I hope that your day is beautiful and wonderful, full of love. And if you have any questions, feel free to post it on the Facebook group or shoot it to me in a private message, because I really do. I want to help move you through this week and move you through your breakthrough, whatever that looks like for you. So all my love, all my light, and I hope your day is beautiful and wonderful as you are.